Now then, people, and welcome back to the Just Your Football Show and another episode of the White Rose Rivals podcast. We have the awesome foursome today, me, Ash, Cossie and Hal. Matt has turned it in, and I don't know if Tom or Ant are coming. Maybe they'll arrive late. One of them's working, and probably Tom's turned it in after they were beaten comfortably by the Blades on Friday night. I watched the game. It was quite comfortable in the end. But we'll get into that throughout the show, of course. But first and foremost, you'll notice one of us is in, he's in a different climate. It's certainly not.
It's warm and all here, mate. I can't believe it. And when I come in, normally it's snowing. Last year, I was stuck out with like -6 when it was starting. But...
You're our roving reporter, mate. We've had you in a Spanish McDonald's. We've now got you where? Where are you?
Leverkusen, mate. So it's really weird. So, I've just, honestly, I'm going back to work on Sunday, so it's just not even taking any holidays up as this. So just.
Oh.
Oh, live TV, ain't it great?
What's it good? I'm not even taking any holidays up. I've had enough buff. Hal, do you want to tell us about your hat? It's very pink.
Oh, you've done that on purpose. I said to you before, don't draw attention to the hat. I've been super busy. My hair's a mess. I just had to grab what my nephew bought me.
I'm sorry. I know.
My Yorkshire cricket hat is not accessible, and I took my nephew Theo where he lives, the closest cricket, and it was Middlesex. And he said, "I love this hat on you, Uncle Hal. You get one, and I get one, so we've both got one." And
nice.
Anyway,
that's fair.
Thanks,
that's
mate.
Fair.
Cheers.
No worries.
Thrown under.
Yes. Ash, how are you, my man?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, Joe. Yeah, all good.
Good.
Yeah,
good. I'm glad. Shall I move us back a bit? Do we feel like we're too close? Is that a bit better? Yeah, that's a bit better, isn't it?
Yeah, that was very close.
It was. While we wait
you
for
see my pause, couldn't you?
Yeah, exactly. While we wait for Cossie to come back, let's talk about Friday night's game. Hal, I watched the game on the channel. I thought Hull, at times, played some good stuff. It was a little bit heart attack early doors out from the back. I'm thinking, oh, they're going to get caught here. But I did quite like the manager's ideas and almost felt that'll eventually give. Something will eventually give for Hull. And I think they'll be all right. Obviously, Hull aren't here to defend themselves. But what I will say for the Blades is, well, you are clinical. You know, you are very, very clinical. And we'll get on to my game. I mean, but when chances drop to the Blades, they have players that will finish the chances. And you won in the end 2-0. Two good goals, a breakaway goal being one of them. But I don't need to. You tell me about it, mate. Comfortable 2-0 win.
Joe, I know we love a bit of banter on here, and it's all about having a laugh. It would be remiss of me if I don't just quickly mention that one of my good friends and a bit of a Blades legend and someone who's helped a lot of content creators and someone who I love dearly, Shoreham View Johnny, has sadly passed away. I haven't wanted to do any videos since this. This is the first video I'm doing since I heard all of the stuff that's been put out recently with me on was recorded before I knew about that. Otherwise, I would have addressed it. This is the first chance I've had. So thank you for allowing me that opportunity. I'm going to miss Johnny a lot. I can't actually quite believe I'll never go to a game with him again. Weirdly, just a few days before he passed, we were chatting about a gift he's got me for my birthday. I feel very sad about the whole thing. And Nick and I are going to do something fitting on our channel very soon. So I just wanted to say that. Johnny, I love you. I'll always love you.
Thank you.
The game, we'll dedicate the win to Johnny. And, you're right about the Blades being clinical, which isn't something that I thought we'd say, because actually we do look like we're going to need a lot of chances to score goals. So that game we didn't. And actually, just to relate to Wednesday, I think Hull play in a very similar style, playing it out from the back. And it either works or you get beaten by a team that has far less of the ball.
We'll touch on it a little bit more, but Cossie's finally.
This guy,
returned.
right? It's about what Chelsea could. They understand English, don't they, in Germany? Give me his Wi-Fi. It had about 500 numbers. It were like lotteries, and put it in, and it connected, and then it's disconnected, man. It's shocking, man. So, yeah, good job. He look after me. I don't know what you heard there.
We heard you're in near Leverkusen's ground.
Leverkusen, yeah. So, yeah, just stopping across from there. So, yeah, just honestly, there's loads of people that do these continental games and stuff like that as well. So, Germany, I still remember this, but I think my first ever German team, I went to your game against Kaiserslautern, mate. Do you remember that?
Oh, bloody hell. Yeah. Bit of European tour. Yeah.
Yeah, I sat below where their fans, and they went absolutely nuts, chucking like firebombs. And at first, I was like, "This is just mad. This is how it is." And I've always been Spanish football, me. But then, like about 5 years ago, when David Wagner went to Schalke, that I went across there. I thought it'd be really good to like go over there. So I knew a guy who knew him, and I kind of met him and everything and that as well. And over there, and then just honestly, I just like enjoyed kind of going to Spain and Germany just all season. So yeah, this is just a bit mad. So German second division, they play some games. They play them all over the place. So like they've got 3 games that they play at 6:30 time on a Friday. Then they play 4 games at 1 o'clock on a Saturday. Then they play a Saturday night game at 8:30 TV, and then they play 3 on Sunday at 1:30, I think it is. So, but everyone's like cool with it and that as well. So if Schalke,
do you know what?
Friday night, yeah.
To jump in, Cossa, you are missing a trick because you are gold. So the fact that you're traveling around Europe watching football matches, you are missing a trick. We need to see Cossi on tour.
That, a wife and kids?
you need to get yourself someone who's just going to come with you and film you. I can imagine these trips are eventful, and obviously you're gold as well. We need to, a bit like you two, Hal and Cossi, would be like...
an idiot abroad. Hey, listen, Joe, right? I went to Bilbao.
I was thinking more Rob Brydon and Steve Coogan, you two.
There's too many of them celebrities about, haven't we? We saw them all at Birmingham overnight. Football's going too upmarket, mate. Let's keep it real for the fans, man, the common man.
Cosy, you need to come to Bilbao next time I go there. I went there with a friend to go and watch Real Mallorca.
Mate. I've been there so many times.
Fantastic. But I went to watch Sporting de Gijón, which is easy to say, against Real Mallorca. Real Mallorca won 1-0, but they put us in a hostel opposite a brothel. Now, if you want a little tongue twister, right? So I'd brought with me, because I was worried about home comforts, some Bovril, so that I could make myself some hot Bovril for the game.
Bilbao Bovril.
Try and say try and say Bilbao brothel Bovril quickly. Good luck.
I thought BBC would have played like hooligan group we played. Is it BBB or BBC? I'm getting mixed up here, mate. I don't. Are we going back to the 90s here? Like, I remember watching that film. You remember that? Let's yell that BBC stuff. Yeah. No, honestly, mate, it's like, so listen to this. So, like, it's £46 return on the plane. Like, how much would a train be to like London this weekend?
150 quid. 150 quid from up here.
The game tomorrow's €30. Like, and there'll be 55,000 there. It's mad. They're doing crap Schalke. Since Gazprom and that war in Ukraine, it's like they've lost all the money and stuff because they had to pull out because Putin was there with a Schalke shirt. So obviously they've had to wipe it. They've had to get rid of him, and well, not literally, but yeah. So that, I don't know, that's got to do with like the prices, but yeah. So it's €30 for that, and then it's like you get your match ticket gets your transport free all the day in the. It's not really a city, Gelsenkirchen. It's like Wakefield, just like kind of a town.
Shittle.
Wakefield's a city, though, isn't it?
Shittle.
So, yeah.
He said
yeah.
shittle.
No, it's all right. Yeah, I went to Iceland over there, but yeah, honestly, what I'm trying to say is you can do it really cheap, and this like lager's like €2. So honestly, it depresses me. Manchester Airport today, right? A bottle of Coke was £3.69. I didn't pay it, but it's like our country's just like, what is going on? And like over there, yeah, but they wouldn't stand for a lot of stuff over there. You know, like stuff like, you know, like games being moved to like Europe and stuff like that as well. They wouldn't do it. And last year when I went to a few games, and they kept getting stopped. These games were like chucking like tennis balls on and stuff like that as well. But basically, they were going to be like a CV. I don't know. You might know a bit more. It's like it's a CV and C investment. Basically, outside investment, we're going to like come into Bundesliga. Fans just don't have it. They were chucking balls on. They were saying if that happens, so all the teams united against it, and it didn't go through. So it's really powerful, like German fans, and like they don't accept stuff like we do. You know, like Leeds getting moved all over the shop and that. So that just won't happen. They won't come. They would not come, and it's like there's a lot to love about it here. But yeah, no, it's and the atmosphere just like honestly, the biggest difference is like Huddersfield are getting beat 4-0. Like the ground is half empty. People don't even sing. But over there, it's just like they just carry on singing. I remember going last year to Berlin in like January, it was freezing. They were 5-0 down with about 10 minutes to go, and they were just going nuts. It's like, what is going on? But I don't know. I had all the hype about it, German football, but like last few years going to see it all, honestly, it's just like it does live up to it. It's pretty special, really.
Nice.
But not special as Huddersfield Northampton on Saturday. That's when I'll be back.
Did you go to Bolton away?
No, cricket's finished now, but I watched it all though. Mate,
4-0. It's a shock.
We all tipped it. No, we all tipped Huddersfield to win. I felt shocking. I hope you delete that episode, Joe. To be fair, but yeah, I mean, you've seen one of the goals, haven't you? It's unbelievable, isn't it? Where I don't know if you've seen it. Where it's almost like match fixing, isn't it? But yeah. But when after I kind of finished here last week, I did a podcast with the Bolton guys, and they were really down about him. And I just thought, God, if I could have had my time again, I'd probably have maybe gone for a job. But they were dreadful. But so much of it they were really bad. I feel sorry for that Ian Everett because he's had 2 playoff kind of final last year. That I think it's really hurt them because they played Oxford. Obviously, I think they thought they were just going to do it because obviously the year before Barnsley beat them, and then. So they're on that kind of third year, just like not getting in the playoffs, a bit like we were under Lee Clark back in the day. And so, yeah, I don't think it'll be that much longer, but they were a trash. But for Huddersfield, it was such a big win because, honestly, it's just mad. We only lost one league game.
Isn't it? It's a statement
I think so,
win.
It is. I think, it is. But you know what football's like? Everyone rocks up on Saturday against Northampton. They're crap. And it's league. The only thing I'd say, Joe, is that Ash, you'll be able to come in here. But, Al, you want that long ago, you're in League One. I know my memory's getting old and I'm getting old, but the standard of the football is atrocious in that division. And I know it might have always been like that. And 10 years ago when we were messing about trying to get out of it, but honestly, it is appalling. I've not seen anything decent. I didn't watch that Birmingham next, but I don't know if any of you guys is. I don't know if that went any better, but honestly, people can't keep hold of the ball past it. I haven't seen anything good yet, but maybe there's some better teams. I think it's just one of those, you just get your wins and get out of it. But I remember last year, obviously, as you got all them points, didn't get out of it. It's just a danger division, isn't it? And you'd like to think, you think Birmingham's surely going to get one of them spots. So, but no, it's got everyone back on side, to be honest, Joe, last week, and back on side. God, we'd only lost 1 game, but I just think it is a bit of a statement win because I think,
Do you know when you're expected to do well though, right? And you lose 1 game, everyone's ready to turn it in. Leeds fans all this week, there's been a genuine conversation in the fan base about getting Farke out. It's fucking insane. I was like, we've lost 1 in 5. And the people going, nah, it's 4 in 14 when you go back to last season. He hasn't learned his mistakes. This is a joke. We're not going up. And I'm like, just calm down.
Joe,
Joe, saying that this would happen.
Yes,
we talked about this not so long ago, that there'd be Leeds fans calling for Farke's head if he didn't win, and I'm not surprised that it's happened. It's a shame. I don't agree with it.
Joe, did I watch the game though? You should have had a blatant penalty.
Exactly. Two misses.
Honestly, Leeds games are always. You don't even have to watch them. You can go on that sofa score at 2:20 and they'll have all the possession. Although to be fair, I think we're a bit more balanced, but. Miss loads of chances and when they lose, it's always the same. It's never on it, but there's no context to it, is there, Joe? It's like the crap and Farke's not good enough, and honestly,
I did a thing this week, right? I did a video where I went back and watched my videos on All Leeds TV, a different channel, from our promotion season under Bielsa, and we'd lost 1-0 to Swansea and 1-0 to Charlton in the first 11 games. And the exact same things were saying about Farke. If you just replace the name, people will watch it. He was like saying Bielsa's no plan B. He's just stuck in his ways. He doesn't change. And I'm like, it's exactly the same. And we won that league by 10 points. So it's like, just calm down a little bit. But I understand the nervousness because we've got to go up this year. We have to go up. Otherwise, there is a real concern because it's then 3rd season and we lose more players. So,
panic getting a job done, isn't it? Because I don't think Burnley were right impressive, but I think it was massive. They've obviously had a bit of a worse start than you. So if they'd have lost that, then it's like Parker's under pressure. But this is football now, and it's mad. And probably caught a Danny Roll in a bit, but don't tell me there's like people piping up about that now. And honestly, that scramble.
Well, I was going to say, when you mentioned the football, I was going to say it's a perfect segue to Ash that, because that goal. My God.
Don't you just think if you're an away fan, that is the dream goal, not a 30-yarder that's banged in. That for me is it. They're blowing for the whistle. It's a mad scramble, and someone just like turns it in. And that away, you must have had a glance at it. Be honest, mate. You must have had a glance up at it and think, fair play, did you? Or do you think, bastard, and just get out of town?
Bastards, get out, man. But what was the ref playing at? But there's if you rewatch it, there's
got to have been a foul in there. I was watching it thinking, how's he not blown up? I just thought he'd have blown up without even knowing because they were just fucking bodies everywhere.
Bannon giving it to. Were Bannon giving it to QPR fans, that Charlotte, or was someone just trying to make more of it than it was? Because one of their fans was saying, "Oh, it was even sweeter because Bannon were giving it to our fans, like when he scored, and it's like, get it up your Bannon and all that." But, you know.
I don't think so. I think it was more of obviously 93rd minute, a bit of frustration in the game that we had, and it was at the Leppings Lane end, so obviously celebrating just in front of them. But going towards our home fans in that corner, I don't think there was anything to it. But yeah, it was a bit of a.
How big a blow is it, Ash? Though, like, did you walk out there proper gutted, or did you just think you played better? And because it must have felt like you lost that.
No, it was frustration. You're on about Sheffield United being clinical earlier, Joe, and we weren't at all. We had 3 or 4 really good chances to get a goal, and we just didn't. The first half was much improved from the obviously previous 3 games that we lost, which it had to be an improvement. But when Bannon scored, 93rd minute, you are thinking, and it was a great finish as well, great goal.
It was a great finish by Bannon.
You are thinking, well, that's it. You've got 2 or 3 minutes just to hold on, and it was a shocking bit of play just before. So the ball came out, and I think it was Max Lowe, one of Hal's favourites. They gave a needless foul away, pushing the back. Got a free kick, put it in, cleared for a corner, and that's obviously where they scored from a corner, and which has been our undoing from set pieces for since God we're a lad. We can't score from them, and we can't defend them. So
yeah, we can't. I think we've had, I don't know the number now, but it's been a hell of a lot of time since we scored from a set piece, and we get so many. I think we had 9 at the weekend against Burnley, and just. I think it's been over 300 corners, someone said, and we've still not scored from one. Yeah, it's been a lot.
Sign, though, of like a good coach is that things that you can actually work on the training pitch are defending and attacking set pieces. And I do think a sign of a really good coach is someone who gets the best out of the areas that you can actually work on.
I think, well, see, I hear what you're saying, but then on the flip side, I think sometimes, like, Bielsa would almost treat them as though they were cheating, do you know what I mean? Like, we were shit at them under him as well, and I think, I get it for someone like Thomas Frank, who clearly works on them areas of the game. I don't know, Farke just probably sees we dominate possession, and eventually, I mean, he went through the presser today, like, we're here, we're there for number 1 for possession, number 1 for XG, all this sort of stuff, but I hear what you're saying, though.
Football's a game of fine margins, and if you can get a little extra edge here or there, that's why Liverpool employed a throw-in coach. You know, it's just the small things can in a tight game, because possession doesn't score goals. We saw with Leicester City in that anomaly season that they had such a small amount of possession and still won the Premier League, and they were good at set pieces. And I think that we should put more stock in set pieces. And I actually think the way that corners are taken in 2024, being so similar to the way corners have always been taken, there's got to be a better way. I'm not saying I know the better way, but I do think just whacking a ball into the mixer and hoping is probably not the best way. And I can't actually believe we've never got any real advancement on that.
I remember there was a guy called Gianni Vio who was a set piece coach at Leeds United, and he's been around, and it turns out he was at Watford. We were chatting about him earlier on my other video, but Arsenal employ a set piece coach, and obviously Gabriel scores. Aston Villa employ a set piece coach, and I think Tielemans got their second goal in the Champions League the other night, and they were, celebrating with him. So I think they are, like you mentioned, trying to get these increment gains, aren't they? But probably in the,
yeah. And Sheffield United employed a set piece coach. It was something I suggested ages ago, and I'm pleased, maybe someone listened. But the point is, it's not just about appointing a set piece coach. They've got to be good. Yeah, got to know what they're doing.
When we got in the playoff final the other year in the Corber, and it were unbelievable set pieces. It were absolutely incredible. Robert Thomas was creating about 20 goals, just like centre half steaming in Leeds and stuff. And it's so vital, isn't it? Because I think it gets into like other managers' heads and stuff like that as well. And
probably defenders as well. As well. Like
it is. Yeah. It's a massive part of the game.
Remember Stoke? That's a great point, Cozzy. Teams used to be frightened of going to Stoke because they knew they'd rather give a corner away. And there was a game, I think it was Villa, where they deliberately kicked it out for a corner rather than concede a throw. And you had the same with Tranmere. And no one would have been talking about Tranmere before Dave Challoner was throwing balls in from his own dressing room. And it was causing havoc.
Now he's a manager better than Mourinho, and it is Challoner. But Yeah, here's another thing I want to say. That's right. Just like we're on about continental football v English. You know that teams just play out to the back, right? And the confidence was shot to pieces. And like you saw the goal, we were honestly, Peterborough were the same. We pressed them, but they still pressed out. They played out to the back. They kept giving it away. The crowd were booing on the back, Bolton and that as well. But they didn't change. And we, when we were playing out a little bit on the back of Darren Monson, the crowd really got on their backs and stuff. And do you think it's just a northern thing, like get it upfield, get it forward and all that?
Yeah.
Because if it happened over here, the people are just like, okay, crack on. And because like he didn't abandon that approach all game because that's their kind of style. But it looks, you know, when people not playing with any confidence, it looks horrendous, doesn't it? And obviously, keeper just passing it to our guy and
I think it takes time for a fan base to get used to it. I remember when Bielsa first started.
Bielsa did it, didn't he? Yeah.
And they were always in and around me, especially like Ian, who would sit in front of me, is a lot older, would be like, the goal's up there, man. What are you doing? And it's like, relax, Ian. And he's like, no. But then over time, as a fan base, you get used to it. And then when someone else comes in, as long as they adopt the same ideas, you're like, all right, we're cool. But I think as soon as it stops, you can easily, it depends on the coach, doesn't it? And which route you're going down, man, once you're set in your ways.
Yeah, we've had it with Danny Rule. We've seen the way that he wants to play out from the back. And probably last season in his first few games, we didn't have the players or the players weren't up to speed with it. But obviously, towards the end, it worked. But then you do get your odd results. I think we played, it was Millwall at home and lost 4-0 last season. And it was like, get it up forward, you know, boot it
forward.
And then he's like, and he comes out in his press conferences and said, look, this is the way we want to play. Yeah. It doesn't help anybody when you've got a portion of the crowd putting their thoughts on how we should be playing when he's obviously got a tactic, he's got a plan that he wants the players to stick to. Yes, it's not always going to be pretty and it's always going to be a bit hairy at the back sometimes. But if that's the way we play and start, then that's the way the crowd have got to get used to it.
We go to Luton, right, when we just got relegated Premier League and under Jan Sievert, and he's trying to bring that like passing out from the back style. And Luton, you're right, next to keeper, you can almost like tackling, can't you? You're that near, like in that away end. But he's a young keeper, and crowd were absolutely. We were playing crap, we were losing. Like, what are you doing? He was trying to pass it out. Obviously, that's under orders and stuff. And the crowd were that like vitriol against him. He changed it. He just kept booting it then long, and he kept going out of play. And to be honest, I don't think he played much after that. So it takes some real balls, I think, especially when you've got a tough crowd like Ellen Rowe. But at the end of the day, if the manager says do that and you don't do it, you're not playing. So I just think crowd got to get a bit clued up a little bit. But I don't know if it's just a northern thing. Maybe it's down south. But honestly, the Bolton fans, just kind of here never. And like, I'm not like good or bad about him, but the guy's like 2 playoff finals. Although people will say he should have got him up. But you think he's got credit in the bank? But mate, we're like, he's got to go. And I'm just thinking, wow, guys. So you got you promoted. And you've had 2 playoff like good seasons when all said and done. All right, they didn't get over the line. And then the first sign of like a bit of turbulence like this year, he's got to go. I just think that sums up modern football, maybe modern life, where if people don't get their own way, but then someone was telling me
instant gratification, man, innit? That's.
But you know what though, Joe? I don't know if it were on Radio 5 or watching it, but someone was saying like Busby Babes were getting loads of abuse or something back in the day. So maybe it's always been like that in British football when it's simple as if you're not winning, it's just like.
Because I think it's been that way in football, and you know what? Even managers that sometimes have been in a long time. Careful what you wish for. You only need to speak to Charlton fans who all wanted Alan Kirbishley out when they were in the Premier League and replaced him with Les Reed. Look at how Charlton have fallen, and they're not a team that are likely to come back anytime soon.
I always think about Stoke as well. When they had Tony Pulis, they got above the station and said, you know what, we want to be expansive. We want to change our style. Brought in Mark Hughes, brought in Bojan, all these continental players. Now they sack a manager every fucking season to Stoke.
You know what? Stokes a perfect example. Yeah. And they've got a lot of money.
Years. Yeah, the guy he's got, though, like assistant to Corcoran at Huddersfield, it's a bit of a strange one. It's to pin all their ups on him for like 3 years. And I think he's highly rated as a coach. But as you know, like a coach and a manager's different things. And there's a tough crowd of Stoke, aren't there? But to be fair, they've had it a bit. I'd say they've had it a bit rough, haven't they? Like 8 seasons at the Premier League and they've been nowhere near, haven't they? Like bottom half.
Why change your style though if it's working? That's the point I always make. Yeah. Like you were causing problems for teams. But then, I mean, I've never rated Mark Hughes anyway. It always pissed me off when he used to get jobs. But that's
teams want more, don't they? So if you finish in 8th, your fans want 7th. I think it sounds awful to say this, but I think, I'm not speaking for Stoke fans, but they probably did reach the ceiling, and that they probably had to recognise that this is maybe as good as it's going to get. Stick with what you've got and keep. And then when Tony Pulis eventually does retire, get someone else that's already in that mould. And you know what? You saw it with Brian Clough when he left Nottingham Forest, and he thought Frank Clark would be the right choice, but Frank wanted to play different football to Clough, and Forest continued. I mean, they were never going to be European champions or anything like it ever again, and it had already started.
That was a big thing, though. I don't know if you guys can relate, but we've had a couple of playoff seasons, like even the Corcoran one. Some people just would not have him because his football is like you get a goal and you sit back, and it's like it wasn't very exciting. I'll be honest, but for me, it's all about winning. But for some people, I've been having a bit of a row on WhatsApp like this week with one of the fans. Says, look, mate, I'd rather be in League One playing a bit better football than Dufflin than that rubbish from the Corcoran. I was like, mate, that guy nearly delivered an absolute miracle, like with half a squad missing and crap budget and stuff. But I remember even going back a little bit, going old, like Lou McCarthy, he delivers a playoff semi-final. Awful condition, I think, with administration and everything, but the crowd just won't have it because they didn't like his football. So I know the dream is to play beautiful football, 100 goals, get promoted. But I mean, Ash, what would it like under Moore? Would it when it was just grin and bear it as long as you could get the job done? Or was it good to watch at times and stuff? Because I think the style is a big thing. I think some people want to win; they're not bothered, even if they're winning with bad style. They want to win, just playing good football. But you get those that win at all costs and those that just want to see good football, and they're not asked otherwise. It's really weird, man.
I think you got like different types of fans, exactly like that. You have got your fans who just want to win at all costs. You've got your fans that don't really mind. They enjoy the game, they enjoy the football, and it's like it's the entertainment bit for them. And then you've got ones that it's like, well, I don't really mind what league we're in as long as I'm watching something nice on the pitch and you're playing really well. Now, one manager is not going to satisfy all them fans. So you are going to get a portion of a fan, whichever way your manager's playing. Darren Moore, yes, probably not the most exciting football. In the early part of the promotion season, doing really well. We went 24 games unbeaten, but it wasn't your expansive, we're going to score 5 and 6 or attempt to go out and score 5 and 6 every game. It was industrial. It did a job.
I think the thing is,
got us eventually where we were and where we got to, but that towards the end of the season, it did get hairy, and we did obviously nearly throw it away.
I think we've a boring style of football. If you're winning, fans are fine, but as soon as you start losing, it's like we're having to watch this shite and we're losing as well. This isn't cool,
right? Can you blame managers will be listening to this, or if they ever are? But you know what I mean. Like if you're a manager, right? Fans will get on your back, but then there's other managers that think, well, why should I be loyal? Because fans will get on my back if it turns. So you get managers like Nathan Jones, who thinks maybe I'll take a punt because one day these Luton fans that love me now, when they start losing, they'll all want me out. So I'm going to take my chance now to make a bit of money. And now if you ask Nathan Jones, he probably regrets that decision. Danny Cowley, right? A really good example because Danny Cowley was an absolute god at Lincoln City. And he was waiting, and he was rumoured to be linked with the West Ham job. And he said he was waiting for the right job. And he took the Huddersfield job. And I remember saying on YouTube, he's taken the wrong job at the wrong time, and his career will only go that way. And I don't know why he went.
Is it Colchester now,
Huddersfield was a fantastic opportunity, but not for him at that point. I can't believe he thought that was the one when he had other offers, apparently. So managers also sometimes need to think about it as well in the same way, because they know they're only 2 or 3 defeats away, aren't they, from being
100%.
Look at Schumacher. Look at Schumacher.
And that's the one that is a bizarre one. And you know, Benjamin Bloom, who I really rate, he's come out quite strong on this and thought that it's a bizarre decision. And we'll end up seeing, and Schumacher's probably one that wishes he'd stayed where he was before. And guys, it's a difficult one, and there's no loyalty in the game at all.
I always think 5 games. If you don't win in 5, you're in big trouble. But you might even be less than that these days. Isn't it?
And that's crazy, isn't it? Because you need to look at Sir
Yeah.
Alex Ferguson. You don't want me calling him Sir on this channel, but
No, definitely not.
but he was knighted, so I will. But he had that terrible run, and as famously saved by Mike Robbins, who's a manager at Coventry now. And I feel like Cov have an owner that would be much more patient. I think if Cov go on a 6-game losing streak, they're not sacking Mark Robbins. And I think long term, you will get rewarded with that way of thinking, especially if a manager has proven themselves.
If anyone's got credit in the bank, it's him, and that as well. Yeah, just funny. I mentioned that Bolton podcast I did after, so I said, I've had some bad experiences at the old Reebok, and I mentioned a game before, and they were like, we lost 3-0, and your goal scorers were Per France and Idago Johnson. And these lads were just looking at me like that on there before my time, and it was 1998 with this game. So I'm thinking they would have been born so they'll be like, I think they look like in the mid-20s. So how bad is that? It's horrendous, isn't it? To think they were probably born in 2002 and stuff.
Mate, when I think of Bolton, I think of the players you just mentioned.
We're too old. We need some youth on, Joe. Where's the youth coming through the pod ranch, man?
Do you know, when I go on other channels, right? When I was in the Premier League, you get invited onto a lot of Premier League channels. It's good exposure for your YouTube channel, but honestly, I ain't got a clue. I don't follow football like I did when I was 16. And I went on like a Chelsea channel, big one. I can't remember what it was. And they said to me, who are you worried about in the Chelsea ranks, right? The Chelsea squad. They've got 90 players. How am I supposed to keep up with them? And I was just, all I could think of was in my head of like, right, Mark Hughes, Frank Sinclair, Jody Morris, Zola, Winston Bogarde, Edna Hoy,
Mark Steen.
Don't.
You can see,
now that you took that too far.
The thing is, when you watch back them old Premier, like, Collymore in stoppage time and all that, have you seen it? That picture's so grainy. There's like lines down side. And that time I was like, this is football. And now you're just thinking, it's like Pathy News, isn't it?
It's so true. And it looks so dated so quickly. And when we do like flashbacks on Twitter, we try and find like today we were doing a League Cup game 24 years ago on this day, Sheffield United Colchester. You cannot find a photograph of that game. You cannot find any highlights of that game anywhere. There are entire seasons that do not exist on YouTube that for me, like 1999, 2000, right? That doesn't feel like that long ago. That season does not exist for Sheffield United.
It does. We were in Premier League. It was years ago.
But Betamax, he got Betamax in actually recording it on Goals on Sunday with John Elman. Come on.
Joe, do you know what I did after this show last week? I went on YouTube and I watched that Clough and Don. Is it Revy or Reevy?
Tom Revy,
right?
Whichever you like, yeah.
Because I watched that the Clough and Revy conversation that they had. And by the way, they keep describing his surname in different ways right throughout that.
Don Revy, I would say, Don Revy.
He must have been sitting there going, why is everyone calling me Revy? Anyway, it's, I don't know if you've probably all seen it, but it is today, it stands up as box office as much as it would have done back in the day. And I advise anyone to watch that.
Can you imagine, like,
Clough is unreal.
When you think of like manager rivalries, like I guess there's not many in recent times, but if we went back to say like Alex Ferguson and Wenger, can you imagine them two sat down like that, or like Benitez and Ferguson? Remember when he did his fax press conference when he was like fax, like to have two people like just on local news, weren't it? I think it was ITV News, was it?
But also there isn't that, and this is one of the things, and you've mentioned to me that Leeds fans don't like Chris Wilder, and this is because there aren't characters that. The last real characters we've had, the ones you've mentioned, and maybe Kevin Keegan and Fergie was the last real outburst between two managers. I would love it if we beat them. Love it. Yeah. But nowadays, managers are so safe. Like if you got Ange Postecoglou and Mikel Arteta, they've never said a bad word about each other. No. So that wouldn't be that interesting having them two sat next to each other.
I do think Ange is a bit of a breath of fresh air, though. He's a breath of fresh air.
Again today, last night, didn't he? About it's like because it's not a poll. Because he said, "Why did you bring so and so?" It's not a. I didn't put a poll out there or something. I like his. I think people are.
But he doesn't have a go at Mikel Arteta, is what I'm saying. Like he might have a go at a journalist, and he's quite outspoken. But the thing we're discussing is purely that managers come in for other managers, and I want to see more of that.
It's a brilliant film, that Damned United. It's a fantastic film. I know it didn't portray.
I mean, that poor lad's took his own life today, that night, non-league player and that as well. And it's just like mental health, like when I think Fergie took a boot at Beckham, and you just can't get away with any of it now. And you've got to be really good at managing like mental health issues and like being there and stuff. And you often hear like some of these great modern managers now, they'll show a lot of interest in like stuff out how to work and get to know them one by one. Where before they would be like, you know,
I remember, like, I get crucified for this, but I read Roy Keane's autobiography, and when I think it was the semi-final, he was playing for Forest against Spurs, and he misplaced a pass. I think it was that game, and as he's come off, Cloughey's just punched him in the tunnel afterwards because he gave the ball away. Can you imagine now, like a manager just whacking a player?
So I'm more talking about like banter, like having a bit of fun.
Here, but still, yeah. Although Patrick Vieira did hit that fan, didn't he, in the effort when they ran on the pitch? Do you remember?
Yeah,
that one,
and Clough famously slapped fans. And,
yes, he did.
And the like. I was more referencing like coming out in public and saying things that are slightly amusing about your opponent, rather than.
It gets you sad though, doesn't it? You see all these tunnel cams now, and people hugging each other before and high fives, even swapping shirts going off. I know, God, we're sounding old and stuff, but it's like. I just like to see, like you don't. I'm trying to think of last big animosity. Even Celtic Rangers don't seem to kind of feel like it did. You know what I mean? Because I suppose everyone just is with social media and stuff. I suppose everyone just connects out. Before you would never get like when you think like Keane's doing stuff with like Vieira on TV shows, they wouldn't have gone anywhere near each other on the pitch. It's,
Do you know what? That I love the overlap and all that sort of stuff because you get a real insight.
Get some insight,
but
they only do it now when they've retired.
Yeah, of course.
You get to see the real personality. And whether you like them or not, some of these people are box office. And a lot of fans will have disliked Gary Neville. And then they'll probably go, I don't like
I love him now, me. I love him
now,
like,
exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah. Roy Keane's
it's
goal.
The persona on-pitch persona, though, isn't it? On his on-pitch persona, and he's against your team most of the time that you're watching him. And the way he acted and the way he was, but he comes across as obviously on all these shows that he has got drive and he is a winner because he's got businesses as well. He's like multi-millionaire through business and stuff. But you do get a different appreciation. I won't say I love him, but I've watched his stuff. Whereas some people I wouldn't even watch whatever they're putting out.
Because there's nothing interesting about being safe. And just telling it in a way that you won't offend anyone or get in any trouble. But being honest,
it's like a proper football debate show. This where we're getting signed up by Sky.
I know, man, it's brilliant. We've not even.
There's too many games and the players potentially striking, and so we'll come back after the break.
Do you know what though? The other day I was speaking to my friend and we were on about the price of stuff, and I went because she was saying like, a Yorkshireman and also talking about price. I said, actually, I do a show on a Thursday, and the last 10 minutes we just spoke about stuff.
I've got the early.
She's originally from Sheffield, you see, but now has lived in North East since forever. But she's originally from Sheffield, so we
bring back Neto, mate. Bring back Neto. All is forgiven. I think it's
remember the big yellow bag. I remember the big yellow bag with the black dog on.
Dog holding a basket on the front.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
You know what, Joe? I'm going to probably get a lot of stick here, but I think it's a bit of an issue with too many games, and I'm kind of behind the players on this one, even though people. God, they paid enough and blah, blah, blah. But I just think it's getting stupid. I don't know if anyone's seen them Champions League groups. When you look at that table, you just laugh now, don't you? You just laugh your head off.
Cozzy, I'm with you. And I have a whole plan that I wrote down a while ago to entirely revamp the leagues because I actually believe that 18 or 20 teams in a league is the sweet spot and 46 games is too many in a league season. And you're talking to a man who loves baseball, 162 games. But I'm saying in football, it's very, very different. And we are seeing too many games. And it's only going to get worse with even international tournaments having more and more teams in devaluing the importance of getting to a finals. And I'm not a huge fan of the Nations League, although I do see how it benefits Gibraltar's, Liechtenstein, San Marino. I see all of that. Totally. Look, I live in Cyprus.
You're right. It's like last night. It's like in the airport today, there were Man City fans and Inter Milan fans half and half scarves. And I'm just thinking, with that on last night, it's like, that game should be like top notch, but it's like it's just it's just when you get to
last night was one of the worst nights of Champions League football.
Yeah. Do you know the thing with that league as well? They've tried to promote it as every game will matter because you can finish higher up the ladder.
Yeah.
Yet after Liverpool won, they only need 7 points total to make sure they finished in the playoffs. So they could turn it in. Like, we'll get a point here, get a point.
Top
Do you
8
know what I mean?
qualified, don't they? But yeah.
Exactly.
It's like a lot of things that weren't broken. Like the World Cup has been brilliant. Like World Cup 98, fantastic. The format of the World Cup in 98, leave it like that forever. It's fine. And the same with the Champions League, when it was like a knockout competition and it was the champions of each nation. It was less teams involved. But then, okay, I understand they want to make more money. So then they introduced the league, that's why it's Champions League format. And now, I liked it when it was a league and then you went into another league. And then
it
you
was
went
two
into
group stages.
Group stages. Then you went to the knockout, the quarters, the semis, the final. That was all right. Maybe it should have been a little shorter. And now we've got this huge league. And you can finish in different places. And the only people who understand it are people who played Football Manager.
The only thing is about some good
on the
away
player
days.
thing, on the player thing is that you do have a squad of 25, 23 players?
Yeah.
And you're playing 46 plus cup games. There is enough to rotate. And basically, I know they want to play the best 11 every game. But you have a squad for a reason, and you have to build a squad, not just a team.
I was listening to bloody Talk Sport, right? And Allison was the one they were honing in on. Allison, the goalkeeper, and a guy rung up.
Piped up about it. That's why. Yeah.
No, but a lad rung up and he went, he stands in between two fucking posts for a living. And I'm sorry, I have to agree with him. I go, do you know what? There's a fucking point to that.
All right.
He stands in between two posts for a living.
That is a fair point. I think, and Ash is a fair point as well. I think the issue needs to be the fans. Because
do you know what I mean, though? Like,
when you think of it like that,
forget the players. Like they get paid really well, but the fans. I've got mates who feel like they have to go to every single game. Yeah. Well, now we're saying you could be going to 50 plus games. That's going to cost an awful lot for the average fan. When really, you should be playing.
They don't care about the average.
Are the players moaning about that though? They're not. The players on that view. They're not moaning about that, and it's a great point.
Not. Of course not. I'm thinking of our fellow fan, and when I'm in the UK, I like to go to every game. Before I did this YouTube malarkey, and it would get ridiculous because I'd feel like back in the day, the League Cup used to be 2 legs, and I think we played Colchester and beat them. I was at Lincoln, anyway, beat them like 6-0 in the first leg, and then you got on a Tuesday night, you got to go and play them again. What's the point? And thankfully they've scrapped that. So we did always have this problem, but then there's no point removing that in the 90s to then bring in what we've got now. And they don't like these under 23 squads playing in the competition like the Carabao, the Vanarama and all that. It's like devalues it completely.
Yeah, it does.
I haven't played Liverpool on Tuesday. You've just seen that before too many times, haven't you, and stuff. It's just... But I get that for someone like Stuttgart who've gone to Madrid, I think they took about 9,000. They'll be buzzing on a right good day. But you want to see some new teams in. But then that team that played Bayern Munich got beat with 9-2, didn't it? Partizan Anyway, we need to bring it back down to League One level.
We do, man. We've got. Let's preview our weekend's games. Hal, we'll start with you. You're at home to Derby County. You got to fancy yourselves.
Yeah, I mean, Derby, decent side. We've got a lot of players that have played for both. We'll welcome Ben Osborne back, Connor Washington, and Nathaniel Mendez-Lang.
Jamie Ward playing Al. You haven't got him?
No, neither's Ashley Ward, mate.
Bloody hell.
We'll go with 2-1 Blades, although I don't want to go a goal down because I am more concerned than the rest of you about where our goals are going to come from.
Oh, see, I thought you've looked quite clinical, to be fair. But then again, I've only seen a snapshot of 2 games, I think I've seen. Because you were most recent to play Hull, they're away at Stoke, Hal. How do you see that going? They're struggling to score goals.
New manager bounce, though, at the Britannia, or whatever the hell it's called, or wherever the hell it is. Where is it? Is it Hull or Stoke?
No, yeah, it's at Stoke. You're right.
It's at Stoke. Right. Yeah. Well, I think that, whenever you've got a new manager and someone trying to impress, even if it's just a caretaker, it does seem to make a difference. Yeah. So I'll go 1-0 Stoke.
Yeah. There's been talk all week of Errol Bullock getting the boot at Cardiff, and I was just going, please don't get sacked. Please don't get sacked. And thankfully, he's still in situ. So we might be the one that puts the nail in the coffin. Ash, you are away at a resurgent Luton. Obviously got their first win. How do you see it going? Kenilworth Road?
Yeah, I think it's obviously they've had the best start as a relegated team. So it's but I mean after QPR on Saturday, the kick in the knackers that obviously we did get a win against Blackpool in the cup. I think it's still going to be a tough game. You know,
I think they're just on the back of a win, aren't they? They won last weekend, I think.
Yeah, they won. Yeah, they got the first win. I think it was.
I think it's shocking. I think it's a terror game that has for you. I hate to say it, but
I know.
you know,
by the way, Cozzy,
you
you should be watching that Bayer Leverkusen game where you are. They're 4-0 up at half time.
Did you? Oh, mate. I know. I'm off to a boozer next where it's got it on, so, mate, they'll all be there. I didn't know, because it's obviously Schalke and Leverkusen is only about 10 miles each, so I didn't know if I could put the shirt on and get stabbed. I don't know how it is, though. Everyone's friendly and that, but, yeah. Wow, thanks for spoiling that, Al. I'll just watch Al Feeder's pet now, innit? That's living, all right. All the young ones are like, what's this dickhead about? But Google it. Good programme it was.
Yeah, it's almost too old for that, mate. It's almost too old for me, that.
Stick some Jimmy Nail on. Jimmy Nail is an underrated artist. He's done
Crocodile
shoes.
Do you know what I used to love? I used to love Soccer AM, right? Whenever they used to do the Geordie skit, and then as it had cut, it'd go, she's lying.
Yeah.
Fucking brilliant. Man.
I'm going to mention Soccer AM because it's like 25 years, though. It's your Ellen Chamberlain.
They're doing a podcast now.
Yeah.
They're doing a podcast on YouTube. Yeah, it's actually all right. Yeah, it's called
PM.
Soccer A to Z, I think. With Tim Lovejoy, Helen, all the old gang, Sheephead.
They
it's
missed
quite
a
good, actually.
proper trick by not calling it Football AM. Because like the soccer bit was the bit no one liked.
Yeah,
and then you've lost the AM bit.
When you think about the some stuff they got away with, there was something going around on Facebook about Jim Bowen and Bullseye, like so much stuff he used to say to someone. Yeah, like there was like a big woman and he was saying stuff like, God, how can you? You can imagine. I don't even say it.
Do you not remember when they used to do the catwalk and they'd be like, "Oh, good age." Mad times.
You can't get away with anything these days.
Yeah, it won't last.
Honestly, come on and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm 18, stop, I'm good age."
You've got two up front. I thought, bloody hell, you can't say that.
Mad times. Ash, come on then. What was your score prediction?
Which game is this? Meadowbank v.
This is Luton versus
Leverkusen v.
I'm going to go. I'm always positive on it, but I've got a 2-0 for Luton. We're going to struggle, I think.
Oh, that's not like
me.
Mind you, I said we'd lose and we won, so that might work out. Good. I get what you're doing here.
Psychology.
Yeah.
We've got Cardiff away. It's never a happy hunting ground for Leeds United, but the bottom of the league, they have 1 point. They've conceded 11 goals and scored 1. So I'm expecting Leeds United to go there and win comfortably, because if we don't, there will be massive questions. Yeah. And look, we're a top team in the division, so we have to go there. And I think it'll probably see Errol Bullock get the sack if we do beat them well. I think he's probably been told, you've got Leeds United, and if you can get something there, then maybe.
He's going to get the bullet.
He's going to get the bullet. How am I that? Sorry. I'm not.
It's an open goal. You're 2 yards out. You've done that miss like that Derby County player.
Derby guy, innit? Yeah. Let's see how that would have finished.
Cossy, you're our League One specialist, so we'll start with Rotherham.
Cobblers, that's the Soccer AM, innit? Cobblers.
Yeah, that is. But let's do Rotherham first. They're at home to Birmingham City. How do you see that going for Rotherham?
Well, yeah, Birmingham City bandwagon, and you know what? It's Tom Brady. Someone, if he walked past down the street, most people wouldn't know him, I don't think. Do you?
Did you see Beckham there as well? It was
showing them more than game. It was doing mine nothing, man. But anyway, Birmingham, he won't be going to Rotherham, will he? Let's be honest, Tom Brady, mate. Yeah.
Imagine David Beckham and that rocking up down at fucking
New York.
Right, when I was living where was I? I was in High Wycombe, and my mate said, "Why don't we go and watch Maidenhead?" Right, and we went and go and watch this random Maidenhead game. It was Maidenhead Wrexham. Ryan Reynolds this is just when he'd taken over. So we were not expecting that. Ryan Reynolds was at the game, exactly like what you're talking about. And of course, all the attention was on him. And Maidenhead won, and I was delighted. I didn't really care, but I was delighted about it. Good.
No, I think it's a big good game this, and I think Big Steve will be ready. He'll be relishing this game, won't he?
He would love to,
I think it'd be 2-2. I think, and Birmingham, I think it's one of those, League One, you always think you can win them all, but I think it's one of those. I don't think they'll be too gutted, to go, I was going to say back down the M1. Yeah, M1, M42 in it, but yeah, That'd be a good game, that, mate. I think it'd be 2-2. And then
2-2.
Steve, he might be doing his thing where he goes, woo, and that. And
yeah.
Man.
Oh, man, he'll be everywhere if he beats Birmingham, I'll tell you, he'll be everywhere. Yeah. Right, mate, Huddersfield, then you're at home to Northampton Town.
Yeah, I think there's not many tickets left, I've heard, Joe. But no, to be fair, we've got loads of games coming up. We've got that international one moved to this Tuesday against Blackpool. Then we've got 2 hard ones then at Reading, who kind of coming back a little bit, and then Birmingham again away on a Tuesday. So I think last week was such a big bonus win. I think either took a draw, and yeah, you've got to be looking to win that. And yeah, I think this is only trouble with League One, isn't it? You just everyone's expecting the lads have got to like deliver. If you're not beating Northampton at home, then you're questioning whether you're going to be in there as well. But obviously that everyone will be chatting. You know what Michael Duff will be saying, but I couldn't name you one of their players. This is really bad because of Northampton people watching them.
Tyler Roberts plays for them.
Yeah,
he plays for them. I know that.
Got that beautiful. I don't know what their away shirt's like, but yeah, we've got to be winning that, haven't we, mate? And then Blackpool. I don't know if Jordan Rudds is fit, but if he is, he's back up the shield on Tuesday, so hopefully we'll keep him quiet, man.
Nice. Costy, just looking at the table now, I know it's early doors. You've got to fancy yourself for this top 2 spot, eh?
It's always weird, I think, with top 2, because we're just a serial playoff team, but I don't think, can you ever say, again, I'll throw it back to you, Ash, did you, when you were up there, were you thinking top 2, or did you just like, let's get it playoffs and let's see if we can get, at what point do you think top 2?
Yeah, I think we always went for top 2. We had, I think it was 8-point advantage, and then obviously finished in the playoffs.
But in August, though, were you thinking top 2? That we are in?
I'm thinking it, and I'm in 9th, man. I'm thinking top 2, and I'm in 9th. You better win this league.
No, I think we just want to get out of League One. You just want to get out, and if it's 1st, 2nd, or 6th, and via the playoffs, then so be it. You just take it, don't you?
Yeah, no, mate. I just don't want to be in this division any longer than one season. But obviously, as history tells you, that League One, if it gets you, done it, and that as well. And then, yeah, I don't know, but it's.
How do you feel, boys, about me and Hal getting promoted to Premier League in 1 and 2? Would you be happy for us?
It happened over here, didn't it? Oh no, it didn't. You got up, Hal, didn't you? When they did that, were that?
Yeah, they did that.
Do you really want me to answer that?
You need to see Yorkshire teams back up, wouldn't it?
Look,
when we
start
this last
go
season,
up, you survive relegation, Ash, and Cossie wins the league. Happy days.
Everyone's a winner.
Agree on that.
When the talk of last season, Joe was like, "Oh yeah, we'll still continue this when we're in Premier League. We'll still continue this. It'll be good." And he's still in.
We'll see. He said, "Yeah, still here. We'll still continue it. This is a weekly segment. If I ever do, yeah." And trust me, when we go Premier League, we'll get beat every week, so you can just, And
I promised Joe when Sheffield United and Leeds were in the same league, I'd come back, and it's taken a long time since I've said that.
Yeah, that's so true. Unfortunately, we're both in the fucking perennial championship team, 2nd division team. It does me tits.
What do you think of the coverage this year on Sky? There's so much happening. It's chaos, isn't it? Now, to be fair, they're doing a great. It's like that game West Brom Portsmouth on that Sunday, but obviously Super Sunday's like dwarfing it. But Tottenham Arsenal, but it's just tucked away there, isn't it now? Because it's just standard. It's really it's taking some getting used to for me. It's good though, isn't it? That all these games are on.
They've only done it for American teams in League One. That's all they've done it for, really, I think. But listen, it's all good for thing. But they're both 1 and 2. What if they both come up to Championship? I guess it brings more money into the leagues and stuff, doesn't it? But hopefully I'll be Premier League by then, so I won't have to worry about Wrexham and Birmingham. But we'll wait and see. Anyone, any final thoughts before we go? No? Okay.
Well, we've got 2 deep today, haven't we? And that as well. We need other guys on. It's been, No,
it's been fun. I've enjoyed it, It's been really good. And I hope.
I just wish I had there like Benjamin Bloom. That's all I'd say, mate.
Same. I've met Benjamin, and I want to say, I get loads of stick for being short. I'm not, and I never have a pop at anyone for the height. A man can't control his height. But all I'll say about Benjamin, he's a great height for a man, and I'll leave it there.
Great stuff. Right, folks, we will leave it there. Thanks as always for watching. We'll be back next week previewing next weekend's games. Will you be in Spain, Cossie, next time?
Yeah, I'm away again. Yeah, Spain next week. And then I'm staying for the week after. But yeah, I'm opting to watch Benfica Atletico next week. But I've just seen it price of tickets are. They're going to need to do a bit of busking after the game. It's ridiculous.
Go and watch my mate Ollie McBurney. Go and check out Las Palmas.
Well, you know, I am. Yeah, week after. But yeah, I'll tell you all next week anyway, hopefully. But
good stuff.
That guy's got his Wi-Fi going. Cheers, guys. See you soon.
No worries.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Colin.
Bye, everyone.